Law 8219 is the money laundering and corporate misconduct module. Quite an interesting module, covers lots of different areas. So the module's split into two halves. The first half looks at money laundering and the second half looks specifically at corporate misconduct. So sort of an example of sort of things that you'll cover there. Obviously money laundering, but also look at fraud, terrorist financing, bribery, market abuse, insider dealing. So a really broad-ranging topic, often dictated by what's currently in the press or any recent prosecutions, or any changes in legislation. Why we look at money laundering? You'll all have heard of it, but you're probably not aware of the sort of the scale of money laundering. And these are all estimates because we don't actually know how widespread it is, because we only know what's the issues that have been caught. So it's estimated that more than 90 billion is laundered through the UK annually. Worldwide, talking about up to $1 trillion annually. You've probably been aware, if you read the financial press, of the issues around UK property being a real easy target for money launderers, and currently over 40,000 properties in the UK are registered to foreign owners with no real trace as to who the actual owners are, and quite often they're used as a front to hide wealth or to hide illegitimate wealth. So in terms of money laundering, the first part of the course, what we'll do is look at what money laundering is, how and when it occurs, and that changes frequently. We look at what the government's response is and what other bodies who are there to prosecute money laundering or try to prevent it, what their current response is, and that looks both domestically and internationally. We think about why it's a problem, why do we want to stop money laundering, and obviously look at some recent examples and recent prosecutions. We also spend quite a lot of time thinking about the impact on professionals, so lawyers, accountants, financial service providers, banks, because actually they have a big role to play in stopping money laundering, and if they get it wrong, they actually can be prosecuted for their involvement, even if it was innocent or just through bad practice. They could end up with some sort of prosecution. So that's the first half of the module. Then move on to the corporate misconduct section. And here you'll look at sort of corporate personality and re-understand the basics of how a company is a legal person in the UK. And then think about, right, if it's a legal person, if it can take actions and be responsible for those actions, what happens if it commits a crime? How is it prosecuted? Why is it prosecuted? Consider the sort of the legals and the socioeconomic perspectives around that. We also look at the procedure. How can you prosecute somebody? Obviously, a company can't go to prison, so what's the impact if it's found guilty? What about the people behind the company, the directors who are running the company? Then look at how the state decides whether to prosecute. So it's not always in the state's interest to do that. Are there other alternatives? So we will look at deferred prosecution agreements and some recent examples around those. And then also look at the corporate bribery offence and some of the huge prosecutions in terms of penalties. So examples there on the slide, the Airbus 3 billion penalty, and the Rolls-Royce 671 million in penalties. Again, they're good examples of how corporate misconduct can be international. The Airbus bribery action spanned UK, US and France. The Rolls-Royce investigation covered 12 countries. So a really broad syllabus, as I say, often dictated by what's currently in the press or any recent prosecutions, any changes to the legislation. In terms of how it's delivered, it's, as I say, it's split into two. The first half, the money laundering, is delivered by Chris Fletcher. The second half on corporate misconduct is delivered by Zoe Ganari. It's run in semester 1, delivered a mixture of lectures, seminars, group work, discussions. You're actively encouraged to participate. bring your thoughts and your findings to the sessions to make it very interactive. And it's assessed by sort of two-part process, some multiple choice questions which are delivered mid-term just to check understanding, and then a 1,500 word piece of coursework.